Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday, the 25th day of November 2025, 11/25/25. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. Hope your family is safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health, along with first responders that do their best to save lives every day. Those also that pick up garbage to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children, victims of child molestation and pedophilia. Those that are helping people that are victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, the profiteers, and the perverts that cause these industries to exist. And I'm thanking the Creator that one day soon, none of them or those that participate in them will exist. Double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States of America, and millions more around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game last night in Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. The New York Knicks defeated the Brooklyn Nets 113-100. We mentioned before the game yesterday, it was a game to get right. Don't take these people lightly. They just beat the Boston Celtics in Boston a few nights before. And the Knicks did not take them lightly and came correct and got right. It was really a good game for the Knicks. What the difference in most of these games are? Well, really, there's two that are the most. There's lots of ways you can win or lose a game in the league. But in the way that Mike Brown is playing this game, or is teaching the Knicks to play his style of basketball, that is for his tenure as the head coach of New York Knicks, is to get in the paint and protect the paint. Offensively, get in the paint. Defensively, protect the paint, which, by the way, was Tom Thibodeau's philosophy as well. They just came at it different ways. Tibbs was finally, right before he was fired, learning to play 9 or 10 guys. He was doing that in the playoffs before he was fired. So he was headed that way, stubbornly. But Mike Brown came in with the idea of 9.5 is the number he had, that he would play 9.5 guys. And so using his bench, using his rookies, which even though he said that, he's not been consistent doing it. So I was expecting, for example, Diawara to play double-digit minutes last night. He did not. I wasn't expecting Hukporti to play double-digit minutes, and he did. This is a little frustrating. I mean, I like to be able to know what a coach is going to do because of their patterns. If they create a pattern, like, for example, at least at this point, before he got hurt, I knew that if MitchRob wasn't playing, Shamet was starting. Okay, that was now an established pattern. And now that Shamet is out, Deuce is starting. Okay, so Shamet is out now. So Deuce starts if MitchRob does not play. And if MitchRob does not play like he didn't last night, and you're missing OG, you're going to get Deuce and Hart. That's going to be consistent. And that's what they're going to do. And they did it last night. So MitchRob was out, Deuce out. But the most important stat of last night, which is going to be a stat that's going to carry over many games, is points in the paint. So last night, the Knicks, if you look at all the other stats, for example, the free throws, the Knicks only shot 14 free throws. The Nets shot 28 free throws. The Knicks shot 79% from the line. The Nets shot 71% from the line. If you look at the three-pointers, the Knicks put up 35 three-pointers, hit 12. The Nets put up 48 three-pointers and hit 14. The field goal percentage, the Knicks had 51% from the field, and the Nets were 38, so they shot better. But the field goal attempts, the Knicks attempted 88, the Nets attempted 87. The Knicks had 28 assists to the Nets 19, and that's a function of the ball movement. But everything else is pretty similar. The Knicks had 8 turnovers. The Nets had 10 turnovers. The Knicks had 10 fast break points. The Nets had 11 fast break points. So it was pretty close, except when you get to points in the paint. The Knicks scored 52 points in the paint. The Nets scored 28 points in the paint. Ball game. And that's the case on almost any Knicks loss. If you're going to look at the loss, it's going to be one or two areas. Either the opponent was hitting a higher number and higher percentage of three-pointers, and or they beat the Knicks in points in the paint. Okay, and so that was the ball game last night. And the points in the paint are a function of how often are the Knicks able to get in the paint. And last night, I mentioned yesterday that I thought Karl Anthony Towns was going to have a big game because he doesn't usually have two bad games in a row. And it's number one, he is a superstar. I call him a superstar. All NBA, all-star, perennial type dude. The best shooting big man in the NBA. And so, he's that dude. But he usually doesn't have two. And I'm learning more about him as I'm analyzing him now as a Knick. You know, we saw him in Minnesota, and we didn't only see him a couple of times a year. I did. But now as a Knick, I'm analyzing him more. Some of y'all, and I understand, some of you saying, well, I wish he would be more aggressive. That's not his problem. Teams are aggressive on him. They'll put smaller guys on him, and those smaller guys will be beating him up. And they're being allowed to beat him up. You know, they used to do that with Shaq. Shaq was so unstoppable in the paint that refs would allow players to foul him and not call it. Because if you didn't, Shaq would score 100 on you. That's in his prime. That's how bad he was. And so they would hack Shaq. It was hack a Shaq because he couldn't hit a free throw. But they would just let people get away with tagging on him, bumping him, pushing him a lot because he was such a force in the paint. Cat is similar, very similar, except he's got a jump shot and he can shoot free throws. So they will get a little smaller guy on him, not a little dude, but somebody smaller than him that's agile to rough him up. And Cat will respond being more physical. Now, this is where the problem lies. He'll get not only more physical, but sometimes he gets so physical, he throws his bow out, he throws his arm out, he'll start bullying people. And that's what Cat is. Cat is a bully. And that's why I knew he was going to, Clowney and whoever other clown was going to try Clarkson. They wasn't going to be able to do it because he could be a bully. And you remember the initial game we had against the Wizards where he just backsawed down and flushed it on his face. You want your big man to be that way. But the problem with Cat is if they're bullying him, he's going to respond in kind and he'll get called for it. And that's how we get foul trouble. Then he gets all upset and he does some stupid fouls just to get at the opponent. But he's hurting himself. And he realizes that. But it's all about the emotional game with him. So you want him. He's aggressive already. We don't need to enforce. What he needs to do is stay disciplined. That's the real key here. Stay disciplined in your aggression. Be controlled in it. When he's like that, he give us a big chance to win the basketball game. He really does. Because if he's like that, because like I said, nobody could guard him. And he is agile enough to get in the paint, almost like a point guard. He can get in the paint, especially if you raise up on his jump shot. He's gonna get in the paint, and then once he gets in the paint, there's problems for the opponent. Okay, and don't try to get him like Alex Sarr or anyone. Don't try to get him on a low block and guard him one-on-one. He will back you down and flush it in your face. The only thing he does is he likes to try to do a little jump hook or a little jump hook, but he'll miss it from point blank range sometimes. That's the only way you're going to stop him. So last night, that was what he was doing. He was under control. He was, and Brown mentioned after the game that he's telling Cat, not every shot's a good shot. Because Cat will like to pull up from deep. Notice last night, he only took 4 3-point attempts. He hit 3 of them because they were wide open attempts in the flow of the offense. When that is the case, now, we have seen him even not in the flow of the offense. When his jumper's on, anytime he gets over half court, there's a problem for the opponent, right? But that's not every night. But every night, he can be disciplined and get the ball in his most effective spots. Brunson knowing where he wants the basketball. So does Deuce. And they try to get him. So does Shamet. A lot of people, and they try to get him the ball in his most effective areas on the court. and get mismatches on the opponent where we get in the basket. So last night, Cat scored 37. He was plus 25, 12 boards. He only had 1 turnover. That's a big game for him. That's really good. So this is a get-right type of game. I'm not saying the Nets were going to be some superior opponent, but this is the league. And so what you want to do is use this game to get right. And that's what they did. Now, no MitchRob last night. It wasn't because of broken bone or anything. He had the same illness probably Deuce had a couple nights before. Every year this happens to every team. Somebody gets sick, and that sickness spreads throughout the team, and one by one guys catch it. Okay, some guys don't catch it, because this constitution is such that they didn't get affected by it. Other guys catch it and they play through it, and then there's guys that catch it and it knocks them down. So Deuce, Mike Breen he said he spoke to Deuce, asked him how he's feeling, and Deuce wasn't 100% yesterday. And that kind of reflected, but his effort was still there. He was -7 though. That ain't like Deuce, but he was ready to go. He came up because Deuce is a tough cookie. So now it's MitchRob's turn to catch the same virus. And so this is going to spread through the team. Hopefully not too bad, but that's what's going on. So last night, though, Cat led the squad, and this is what you wanted. You wanted the ball to flow through him. Brunson was playing a very good game last night. And I'm not just talking about his 27 points. That's what everybody's going to look at. He scored 27. Yes, he did. He was 10 of 19. He was 4 3-pointers, 4 of 9, 3 for 3 from the line. But what I liked about what I saw from Jalen Brunson last night, he was under control. He was in the flow of the game. He wasn't forcing anything. He was letting it flow. And just as important, on the defensive end of the floor, he was in the right positions that he was supposed to be in. When he gets caught in the wrong spot, that's when we get scored on, in the paint usually. See, but he was in the right positions last night. The Nets did try to exploit him, but they were playing a nicely done scheme on the defensive end of the floor, and so you didn't see him get exploited as much on that side of the floor. So this is a get right type of game. Like I said, I was very much expecting, and I still don't understand why Diawara only played 5 minutes last night. In the 5 minutes I mentioned yesterday, I wanted to see what his plus minus was. They were +3 when he was on the floor for the 5 minutes, because what he brings. He did not score, but what he brings on the defensive end of the floor is big time. So the bench as a whole, when you look at the bench, the players that were rotational pieces, they only scored last night 17 points. But you got to remember two bench pieces, which is Deuce, and then there was Hart, were starting. And we were missing Shamet, OG, right, or MitchRob. So we're missing some pieces. So you're going to get less points from the bench in those type of nights. Of course, Clarkson led the bench with 12 points. Clarkson was +10, and he was balling. You know what stopped Clarkson last night? The refs. That's all I'm going to say. That's all that stopped him last night, because he couldn't get his rhythm the way he wanted to. Refs wouldn't let him, some of them stupid calls they were making. But he still ended up with 12. He had 4 turnovers, but he was +10 because he was playing both sides of the basketball. I have to give Tyler Kolek credit. Like I said, I did the video earlier where I confessed I'm on board with Kolek high, but he played a good game last night. The boy was tough on the defensive end of the floor. I'm loving what I'm seeing in that. He was smart on the offensive side of the ball. Nice, crisp passes, which we know he could do. Even a lot of he had 5 assists, but he had some hockey assists too. So I like what I'm seeing from him. And he played 17 minutes last night, showed up. As I mentioned, Hukporti played 13 minutes. He was -7, but I don't think he gets enough. He's a guy that needs to get consistent minutes, Coach Brown. He needs to get consistent minutes in order to be a consistent producer. You can't just spot play him. But that's what's going on right now. So I'm really feeling we're not seeing the full effect of Hukporti. If you were giving him let's say he played 13 minutes last night. If you're going to give him a consistent 13 minutes, like every night he knew he was going to get that, by the time you get to 10 games of his 13 minutes a night, he'll be playing a lot better, okay? But it is what it is. And then, of course, Yabusele, he was +5. He played 12 minutes. He was really, playing solid defense, moving the basketball. He was doing his thing. He's not yet scoring, but he's trying to do other things to affect the game, and he is. So that was good enough last night. So it was a nice win. It was a get-right type of game for guys like a Brunson, like a Karl-Anthony Towns. Hart did what we expected him to do. 7 points, 12 boards, 7 assists. That's what we expect from him. Yeah, and he had 12 points, 7 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 fouls. He only turned the ball over once, which is also big because Hart and Cat are turnover machines. So that was good that they were under control with that. And the Knicks only had 8 turnovers last night. Great game for them. Like I said, get right game, and they did use it for that purpose. Okay, so tomorrow we got another situation where we can get a get right game, and that's against the Charlotte Hornets. I'm not sure if Mitchell Robinson's going to be available for that game or not. But it's another game for the Knicks to work on their game like they did last night. Work on their game. Brunson to be under control, be in the right spots. These are the NBA. This is the NBA. So it didn't appear because he played such a good game, but the Nets were trying to exploit him like every team is going to. So he just did a good job paying attention defensively and being under control offensively. He really did. So, and he was very efficient. Shooting 10 of 19, he was very efficient. 4 of 9 from the three-point line is because he wasn't forcing it. So it's good. So now Charlotte tomorrow night at Charlotte. And again, I don't know if Mitchell Robinson's going to be there. Deuce is going to be there. And we still got Diawara. We still got Hukporti, which I feel like our coach should probably make more use of because we need that defense. Okay. Now, last night he played. Last night, I think all of the starters. Deuce played 30 minutes. And he's the least. He was the least. Cat 33, Hart 38, McCall Bridges 34, Brunson 33, and Deuce 30. I'm thinking that's pretty good. That's about what you want. Okay. You're getting enough defense from them. They were, the starting unit for the Knicks was plus 63. That's good. That's good. That's what you want from your starters. And yeah, what else can you say? They did what they had to do. They did it right. They played their game. They kept it real. So do that again against Charlotte. Same thing. Stick to the game plan, Mr. Brunson. Stay in the flow. Cat, stay in the flow. Stay under control. They're going to rough you. They're going to put somebody on that's going to beat them up. How he responds is going to say how good a game he has. See, so, and Cat, that's the thing about Cat, though. He's so damn big. You know what it is, too? Like, sometimes he responds incorrect, and he'll get, 4 fouls. But then, at the same time, he is so big and bruising, he's wearing the opponent out. And so sometimes that's why in the fourth quarters he goes off because the opponents done got beat up by him all game. Then in the fourth quarter, he's still strong. And so that's that. But if you can take him out of the game mentally, like Orlando did, with their aggressive, fouling him and stuff, and he responding in kind and, not being right, then you got a chance. But if he stays mentally focused and stays within the game, and gets the shots in his spots and don't force up stuff like long 3-pointers, he's gonna be a terror more nights than not. So we're gonna get Orlando again on I think December 7th. We get Orlando again, and you know what? Let's get it on. I'm hoping at that game we have. I hope everybody's back. I want to see Paolo Banchero on their side. I want to see OG, MitchRob. And I don't know about Shamet. I'm trying to be real. Somebody said, well, he didn't get surgery last year. Okay, great. Some of y'all like to point out these little nuancey things, BS things I don't give a crap about. The point is, he missed most of last year. And he came back from the shoulder injury at the end of the year. He injured the same shoulder this year. I hope he don't. I don't know. I don't know how much time he's going to miss. Shamet's an important piece of what we're trying to do, y'all. He really is. I don't care about all this. Well, he almost didn't make the team. No, he's the last guy picked. All that BS. No. He's an important piece of what we're trying to do. He was going to be, and he still is. We're waiting to hear the news on that shoulder, though. See what we got to do, man. If he didn't have surgery last year, whatever, or he doesn't need surgery this year, or whatever, when he's going to pump. What we want to know is, when is he going to get healthy again? When is he going to be back? We need him, period. So, and we need him sharp. See, there's a couple of games we wouldn't have won this year. The 36-point game he dropped, we wouldn't have won that game without him. And then again, he had a 6-point game where the fourth quarter he started nailing three. We wouldn't have won that game without him. I think that was against Miami. Yeah, so we're going to need him come playoff time. So hopefully he comes back. But I'm not, this Sunday, December 7th, I don't think he's going to be there. But we're going to have hopefully Deuce, MitchRob, OG, the rest of the crew. I'm hoping our boy starts to play Diawara some more because we need some more defense out there. And Hukporti stop playing around with these kids. So let's see. Anyway, we got Charlotte tomorrow. Let's take care of our business like we did last night. And we should be all right. Y'all enjoy your Wednesday, your Tuesday. As we're getting closer, some of my family's coming tomorrow to get ready for this Thanksgiving. By the way, I don't believe in Thanksgiving. I'm just letting you know. But I like getting together with my family. Not for the holiday, but because we can. I like that. And I like the food that's being made. I'm into it. Y'all enjoy your Tuesday. I'm going to enjoy my fam when they start coming tomorrow. Sugar.